There was like 300 comments in that thread, and I'd probably say about 90% of them were people arguing about fictitious versions of the Loda incident, like things that objectively didn't happen, things that objectively aren't true,
I've been
and
there
people.
a little bit. I mean,
Yeah, no, I get it, man. I like totally,
well, like
but
yeah. No,
yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
No, no, no. I was just gonna say, and you can talk about your thing if you want to. I'm down for that.
No, I got a taste of that with the sniff thing, where
Mm.
anything with my face on it, when I got hired at BTS, when I still had the dreads and had that look, that conversation would start again, and that became the troll way to play it, is go in and say, hey, I don't understand what this is, can somebody explain the meme? And then somebody tries to explain it, and then it's like they're playing Whisper Down the Lane in the follow-ups of trying to get the details and course of events, and it slowly streams into these alternate realities of like, guys, I don't feel the need to defend myself, but half this shit is like, that's not what happened. Go fucking watch the video if you really want to see what they're talking about. But this is now getting fictitious because everybody has a different lens and memory on stuff when it's 3, 4, 5 years removed. But anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, it's good, brother. I mean,
I
listen,
feel you a bit. It's tough.
I've checked the fucking oil before. What are we even talking about here? Like what, human fucking moments? We got to pretend that they don't happen. Like it's so weird, dude. Like people are insane. But anyway. Yeah, so this was like, I'm looking at this thread and people are going, yeah, well, it was all thanks to Loda. He wasn't thrown in prison. It's like Swedish law doesn't work like that. If there's any evidence of a crime, they have to arrest me. They have to arrest me, like get the evidence and send it to a prosecutor. It's like we've got the same thing in the UK, like an unwilling victim law. They brought it in so like vulnerable people don't get intimidated into not pressing charges against, people that are committing crimes against them or are in positions of power over them. Sweden has the exact same thing. But forget all of that. I said it before. I've spent 5 years being contrite and apologizing for lies, essentially. Here's the bottom line. Here's what happened, right? They right? Kelly and Loda both misinterpreted a joke, which was about Hiko's mother. In fact, you want to know what? Because I've been packing my shit, and I didn't actually get this out for this. I've still got the sign.
Oh, my God. I don't believe that you didn't have that prepared. It was just fucking sitting right here.
No,
like,
I had it out on stream. I had it out on stream the other day. So you can see there, right? Proud mom Hiko. Proud mom Hiko. I'll show you the reverse side. You can see some who love Bulbasaur, and it's a sign for Neo, and it's got a unicorn logo in the bottom. This is the exact sign. So I'm walking back, and I pick that up, right? Now, I thought maybe Hiko's mother was at the event. Now, I know Hiko. Me and Spencer are fucking friends. We've been friends for years, but we were in sort of a kind of a weird place because of the whole I Buy Power thing, right? And where basically he was going to go and play with the players who got banned, right?
Yeah.
And so I was trying to like make nice with him because I felt really bad about that. He'd done nothing wrong, but a great opportunity had been denied to him because of their actions and my reporting. So when I saw that sign, I thought, I'll tweet at my boy Hiko and basically say like, haha, I've had sex with your mother, haha, lol. British banter, right? Mm-hmm. And it's Kelly's sign. Because she's doing that fucking irritating thing, where people in esports organizations can't keep it professional, right? And she's saying, I am your mother. I'm like your mother. Just be my manager. Just shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? So she's doing that. I don't know. So there's the sign. You saw it yourself. So I've made that joke. And of course, because it's Kelly's sign, Loda thinks what I'm saying is I've had sex with Kelly, which, mate... Never ever, mate. Never ever. So he's so I don't understand why he's getting upset. I think it's to do with Hiko because Kelly had already said to me on Twitter that I had ruined Hiko's life and his career by publishing that story. Because remember, she was working for Alliance, and Alliance and EG were essentially the same business, and they were gonna go play under the evil genius's banner. See, all this additional detail, like daughter twats that just tell the fucking live version of what happened, don't know. They don't know about it. All of this gets lost, right? Yeah. So all of this context is important. So then Loda's tweeting at me. Basically saying like, oh, I'm gonna come and find you. I'm gonna come find you. So I'm like, yeah, do it, mate. It's like I'm on,
remember
and
that.
I made a
I'm
joke.
easy to find. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
that
I'm
too.
easy to find because I'm
Yeah.
on stage. He'd been knocked out of the tournament, like earlier, so he's not on stage. That's the clever bit of banter there that's going on, guys. For all the people who missed it, people who were saying it's a direct invite, you fucking morons. So anyway, he comes backstage because it's Loda. All the Swedish security guards, which by the way is an oxymoron, because all the real men in Sweden died on the fucking Viking longboats,
Jesus
like in 800s. Because these guys did fuck all. They couldn't have done less if they tried. They just sat there. He's shouting and screaming. And I'm like, are you Loda? I don't even know who Loda is. I don't follow Daughter. I don't care. So he's walking towards me. He goes in. He's got, because remember, he's bald and can't cope with it, right? And he can't just rock it out. So he even turned his baseball cap backwards like Fred Durst or some shit. You know that baseball cap he's always wearing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he flipped it round and he's giving it that. He's giving me fucking forehead to the face. So what do you think happened to that point? Like, security guards ain't stopping him. Dreamhack employees ain't stopping him. So I now have a choice. I can be the guy who gets headbutted by fucking Loda and live with that for the rest of my life. Or I can give him the old little thumbsies.
The old strangle? Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what they say. It was that. It was that. It's a thing you get taught if you work as a security guard. If anyone invades your space, best way, like, and they're leaning like that, best way to get rid of them is go for, round the trachea. It's so uncomfortable and unpleasant in the neck.
Right, it's sensitive.
Yeah. People recoil, but you don't do any lasting damage. You don't hurt them.
Yeah.
It's better than throwing a punch or whatever.
The trach punch. Wow, look at you,
Yeah,
Mr. MMA.
so-
My gosh.
So I did used to do that as well, which was another reason why it was a fucking dumb idea for this guy to get involved. So anyway, that's right. Then, because once that happens, Kelly starts saying to all of the Dreamhack employees, Alliance is owned by Twitch. We're going to complain to Twitch if you don't kick him out. And you must call the police. And in fact, I'm going to call the police. So they threw me outside and confiscated my phone, letting Loda tweet his version. Right. Well, I'm just stood in a car park outside, not knowing, oblivious to all of this. Right, Dreamhack under tremendous pressure to offer up a sacrificial lamb because Kelly's saying we're gonna get I'll get your Twitch partnership removed from Dreamhack and all. She doesn't have that pull or authority, but like I say, Alliance being owned by Twitch was like it's why I got fucked as hard because they were panicking about the broadcast deal and stuff.
I see.
And then by the time I come back in from outside, the police are there. I'm interviewed. They interview the eyewitnesses who say, yeah, Loda was the aggressor. He was Richard definitely acted in self-defense. No journalist's interested in interviewing anyone who said that, by the way. There's literally like 5 or 6 eyewitnesses that corroborate my version of events. But they've just never been interviewed. And then but when people go, well, it's your friends, isn't it? It's like, no, I'm friends with the people I work with. They're still independent beings capable of telling the truth,
Right.
So anyway, basically, the police said, you have acted in self-defense. We are not arresting you. We are not charging you with anything. Have a nice day. And then because Dreamhack still wanted to kick me off the broadcast, but it was Faceit's event. It was Faceit's CS event. So Faceit said, it's our event. You don't get to dictate who we have on the broadcast. So I even finished the broadcast. I never got kicked out. I never got banned. But then once we'd ended the show, Dreamhack were trying to get me to sign an NDA. Like, mate, it was like that fucking. Have you ever seen the game show Deal or No Deal in the UK?
Oh yeah.
Right. They brought out a phone to where I was sat and said, "Oh, pick it up," and it was Loda from the hotel.
Okay.
And he was on the phone going, "Yeah, I think this situation has got out of hand, but I am just worried that when you get back, I don't know why he's Dutch."
What is this accent? This is me doing a British accent, dude.
But I'm just worried that when you get back, that you will say things and make me look silly. And I'm going, look, mate, I'll say what the fuck I want now. Like you brought Twitter into the fucking occasion, you mad cunt. Like you brought Twitter to the party. So what am I gonna do? And so Dreamhack were trying to get me to sign an NDA, saying I wouldn't talk about it. And if I signed it, they said they would still hire me. But I said no. I reserve the right to talk about this. So I got back. Dreamhack hadn't made a statement about whether or not they'd work with me, and I tweeted out, I will never work with Dreamhack again because of how badly they handled security.
Oh, you got ahead of it.
Yep. I literally did it while I was in the taxi coming out of Jönköping. And they basically then, at that point, it was, I must be offered up to the sacrificial god of esports. Hellspawn put out that bullshit statement, complete lies, of course, saying I wrestled Loda to the floor or something. Like, you have to remember, Hellspawn was crying.
Why?
He's just mental, isn't he? He's just not normal. He's just not a normal human being.
I've only talked to him for a cumulative of like 15 minutes in my entire life, so I've got no judgment on the guy.
Right?
He told me I was a good commentator, and I said thanks, and I asked him if he liked Dota, and he said yes, and then I didn't hear what he said next, so I just waved and walked away. It was at an after party where the music was kind of loud, so It wasn't a real conversation. He was a sweet statue.
So he basically like was crying and go, "What did you do? What did you do?" And I was like, "Are you all right, mate? Like, this is normal. This is like just a Friday night in Britain. Like, someone tried to get wide."
Well, yeah. Well, you're a rough and tumble Brit. I've never even been in a physical altercation, Richard. I would have been crying too. Jeez, who am I to judge?
Even Loda said afterwards, because we all shook hands. I thought it was going to be fine. Like, I honestly thought, like, me and Loda, I don't even necessarily blame Loda as much as all the other parties. I blame Dreamhack more. I blame Kelly more. I even blame Twitch, by the way, to a certain degree, for not just telling them straight, like, your broadcast is under no threat. Like, we couldn't be bothered less. I was sat next to a Twitch employee when all this started. Sat next to Tosspot. So, anyway, like, for me, like, I like, Loda even said, like, why were you scared? And I said, because you were putting your head in my face. And he's going, yeah, but I'm Swedish. I don't fight people. How am I supposed to figure all this out? I react to the stimuli I'm given. So anyway, long story short,
I see.
That's pretty much right. I'll be willing to say there might be one or two details in there I've got wrong because it's been 5 years, but I'd say that's 98%.
Right. That's the Richard Lewis truth. Gotcha.
No. That is not a twit longer. The truth. Okay. That is the truth. Maybe bar one or two details that are incorrect.
Well, I can see that you've processed all this and put it all to rest. I'm glad it's no longer weighing on you, my friend.
No, but it's the thing. It shouldn't be weighing on me. After 5 years, should it? But people, it's all people talk about. It is the most lied about incident in esports history. It's ridiculous. And here's what I don't get. Even if it was true that Loda had tried to attack me and I wrecked him, which isn't true, but let's say that was true. Isn't that like, doesn't everyone have some sort of sense of like natural justice? Like, doesn't someone, like, don't people go to like, what's that, like subreddit, like instant justice or whatever, where it's like someone will be like shouting at someone and just get sparked out completely by like some small dude and everyone will go, oh, that's brilliant. That's the natural order of things, except when it's Richard Lewis, evidently.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, sorry, that was a roundabout way of answering the question. Until the Dota community are like capable of accepting like some fundamental basic facts, I don't see the point in creating Dota content unless on some level it nourishes me, because it's going to get downvoted and it's going to be hundreds of comments debating a thing that objectively never happened. So what's the point?
Yeah, I see. I guess I don't have a good answer for you. I would have thought if you'd asked me this 3 or 4 years ago, like, enough time passes, you do enough good content, you slowly win people over. A lot of talent in Dota have a very topsy-turvy history. There was a long time where Shiver was not a very accepted talent in the Dota community. That sounds crazy now because she's so beloved and so tier 1, but when she was first starting out, she didn't quite have a niche for herself. We didn't have events big enough where there were regular desk hosts, so that wasn't quite a role yet. She was a caster, but she spoke Dutch first, so with her accent, she wasn't, a true tier 1 caster at the time. She wasn't quite an analyst. She was sort of an interviewer. She bounced around, and she found her place eventually, but a lot of it was through perseverance, and that's what won over the respect of the Dota folks. And also, improving, and over time, you build this catalog of experiences with players where you can show up at events and talk, anecdotally about experiences with players. And that gives you such an advantage over any other host that might be polished in some other category. But it's like the Dota rite of passage. Everybody is hated before they're loved, and you got to get through the hatred. It's sort of like you said before. You got to prove you're tough enough to get through the hatred, and then they start to accept you. So I don't know, buddy. Maybe it's for you instead of the normal timeline. It's just a 2xer because you're Richard Lewis and you're banned from the League of Legends subreddit, and some of that trickles over for sure. I see people talk about
technically
that
banned
too.
from all of Reddit. I'm not allowed to have an account.
Well, but Richard Lewis content can be on the Dota subreddit though. You're not like your name is not scrubbed from the entire site of Reddit, is it? Am I mistaken?
No,
that? I thought that was a League of Legends subreddit specific.
Yeah, that's a League of Legends thing. Although Hellspawn is
Yeah.
a moderator on the Dota 2 subreddit, so make of that what you will.
I see.
But yeah, I think it sucks, man. Like I have no interest in, like, I'm an established guy. I'm not gonna jump through hoops. Like my MO isn't to pander to or placate communities. I think the Dota community is one of the worst for having talent that does that anyway. Actually, what the Dota talent needs is a healthy dose of reality, because your game has a lot of problems. And outside of Kyle, really, I don't see a lot of people that have like the balls to actually stand up to the community and kind of like tell.
Are you
them some of the
insulting
hard
my
truths.
manhood, Richard?
Not really, but I think to a certain degree, I think you're I don't know. I just don't. You don't strike me as that. You don't strike me as necessarily a hostile or combative person. Anyway.
No, I feel bad when I upset people. I don't like having those really good gotchas on Twitter. Like a lot of times I write tweets that I think are legitimately funny, but they're put down tweets, and then I think about how I'll feel if that person DMs me or doesn't take it right. Like one time I played against a really small streamer who was getting boosted in a matchmaking, and I got matched against her twice, and in the second one she was like, "Sorry, your teammates are so bad," and it really triggered me that she would imply that it's like, "Oh, you're." It's just like, come on, just if you admit that what you're doing, I don't really give a shit, but don't act like you're not getting boosted right now. So I screenshotted it and tweeted it, and she DM'd me and said, "I feel so terrible. You made me feel like I'm just an awful person and I'm a hypocrite." And it's a stupid minor thing, and I'm using that as a good example because I'm sensitive to it. I feel bad when I make other people feel bad, even if I feel justified in that moment of rage. So I try to dial it back. I try to go the opposite way. When I feel the rage monkey scratching in the back of my head, I try to step back.
Yeah, with me, it's like I try and do it less these days. But I mean, my triggers, unfortunately, are people who tell lies and people who are stupid. And that really doesn't leave me with a lot of wriggle room on the internet, unfortunately. Jesus. Yeah, and I get really triggered by that stuff. I really do. I find stupidity an absolute loathsome quality. I can't get beyond it. Oh, because I only want. It's not that. It's I don't care if you're like uninformed about a subject. That can happen, but at least know you're uninformed, and therefore, when someone knows more about it than you, be open to listening. Probably is a good idea.
It's like a willful ignorance mixed with arrogance. I don't know what that's called, but I kind of know what you mean. There's a formula there that upsets me too.
The people that are the least informed about a topic are generally the ones that express their opinions on that topic with the most confidence. And I loathe it. I can't pretend that's all right with me, because it's not. And I see people do it all the time. I see people in esports go, "Do you remember when Richard Lewis did this thing?" And it's a fabrication. They've conflated me with someone else or whatever. And then they'll argue with me over it happening. And they can't produce any evidence that it ever happened. And you'll argue with these people back and forth until you get them to a point where you have now presented the objective reality that they are wrong, and they still can't just say, no one can say I'm wrong on the internet. Yeah. It's insane the lengths people will go to just not admit that they're wrong. Like, just free yourself of that. Like, just say I'm wrong. Like, it doesn't, the world doesn't end. Well, but they can't do it. And, they'll say, "Oh, but I misremembered, so it's okay that I essentially told a lie in public," or, I mean, I guess maybe kind of, sort of, I might be wrong if you look at it this way. Like, no, you are objectively 100% fucking wrong, you moron. Own it. Own it. And they won't. And that is a huge trigger to me, because the way social media works with its systems is that, like you said earlier with Twitter, it's an echo chamber, right? And Reddit is an even worse echo chamber, because it literally is like the mouse in the lab that gets the cheese when you say the right words. Mm-hmm. They've done multiple studies. The first 3 comments in a Reddit thread will dictate what everyone else says in a Reddit thread. People are that easily led. And and anyone that dissents, you only need net 5 people to disagree with your opinion to make it disappear. That's if the mods don't manipulate it. That's if the algorithm doesn't manipulate it. There's all these tools now you can use where you can just literally set certain opinions, certain keywords, certain users to just not appear. Their posts just don't show up in a subreddit, and so you get this very sort of controlled artificial reality. And it encourages stupidity, it encourages lies, it encourages misinformation, and that's by design. Unfortunately, I really think
see.
it is. And when you apply it to like just our small world, esports, I don't know a single member of talent, a single influencer, a single professional that like doesn't have like one story about them that is like a lie that is told ad infinitum and gets crazier and crazier each time it's told.